Hey everybody, this is Tracy Panase, and I would like to thank you for signing up to work on one of our drop-off days. If you are helping on one of those shifts, you are going to be involved in one of three areas. That would be clothing or shoe inspection, and the other area of help is helping to check consigners in, to work with our team to keep the floor organized. Those two areas require very little instruction, so we just ask that you be flexible and you go wherever you are needed. Likewise, if you have some limitations, like if you prefer to be sitting during your shift, we can assign you accordingly. So I'm just going to talk about some general information about helping at the sale, and then the majority of this video is going to be spent discussing clothing and shoe inspection, because that's where there's some subjectivity involved and where we really want to be as consistent as possible. So in general, we ask that you arrive 15 minutes before your shift. You will check in when you arrive and you will check out when you leave at the team member table. You will get a name badge and an apron. We do ask that you wear comfortable shoes and that comfortable clothing is worn, because you're going to be moving around a lot when you're on this shift. It's a good idea to leave your valuables at home or locked in your car, and we will have water available for you. Feel free to bring any other snacks that you might need during your shift. Let's talk a little bit about the process of drop-off. The consignor is going to come in and they are going to check in at the desk, and they're going to be asked to then proceed to inspection. They'll go out to their car, they'll load up a rack, they'll bring it in, and then they're coming your way. So consigners who have checked in are going to have a sticker on, and there will be two stickers. One will say I've checked in, and the other one will be a perfect inspection sticker. And they're color coded, so you know how to respond to your customer. If the I've checked in sticker is yellow, that means this is someone who has participated in our sales before, but for whatever reason was not on the perfect consignor list. If they have that same I've checked in sticker, but it's blue, that means they are brand new to JBF. So they're probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated by this process. So we want to be extra new to our, extra nice to our newbies, because they're our new customers. And then finally, if they have a pink sticker on, they had perfect inspection at the fall sale. So you are really just giving them a very quick, and I emphasize the word quick, spot check. Checking primarily for the seasonality of their items to make sure that they're appropriate and they brought the correct number of maternity and junior items. And I'll talk about that more in a moment. If they do not have a sticker, that means they did not check in. So they need to be redirected to the front to check in before they can come to you. They will also have a really bright colored drop-off card, and again, if they don't have that, they need to go get that at the front desk, and I'll tell you what you're going to do with that in just a moment. So the basics are the clothing that comes into the sale must be on hangers. The only exception to that is for onesies or infant sleepers that are under 24 months. Those may be in a Ziploc bag, and we do not inspect anything in a Ziploc bag. You are strictly looking at the hanging clothing items. The hangers all need to be facing in the same direction, and the proper way to hang for the sale is in a question mark with the opening facing the left. And their tags must be printed on white or very lightly colored cardstock. So if it's a pastel or a beige color, that's okay. But if it's like neon green or bright red, that is something that will interfere with the barcode and potentially will not scan. The two things you're going to be looking for are the seasonality, if it's the appropriate season, and the condition of the clothing. So we have brand new guidelines for this sale. The rules are not really different, but we just presented it a little bit better, I think. So this will be on a very large poster board in the inspection area, so you can see what is seasonally appropriate. So all of the things over here on the left-hand side of my screen, these are in for the spring. All of the items on the right-hand side of my screen, these are either not accepted at all or things that we are unable to accept in the spring and are more appropriate for the fall. The general rule of thumb is you are looking for clothing that your child would generally wear between April and September. That is what defines the spring season. Items on this side are things that your child would typically wear between September and April for more cooler weather. There are also certain brands that we do and do not take, specifically for juniors and maternity. They are outlined here, and I'm going to let you look at this at your leisure. I've attached a link to this file in this training video so you can download this and you can take a look at it before you arrive. So what are the seasonal guidelines? As I said, everything must be seasonally appropriate except for maternity. We do accept lightweight pants, capris, shirts, tops, skirts, things of that nature. Generally, no long sleeves over 24 months unless it's something with a zipper that could be worn as a jacket, or it's a light colored cardigan, also like a long sleeve dress shirt for boys, pastels, and I'll show you some examples of those. No fleece. We cannot accept anything with a drawstring on upper outerwear up to size 12, and again I will show you some examples of those. Jeans are okay. We take them at both the fall and the spring sales. Holiday themed outfits for Easter or the 4th of July. This spring, 2 of our sales are after Easter and 1 of our sales is before Easter. However, we will take Easter at all 3 sales. Just because of the timing, it's a little bit more difficult to take Easter items. Up to size 18 for boys and juniors for girls. Juniors are things that are defined as sizes 0 through 5, and we do have a limit of 10 junior items. They must be brand names, and each consignor is limited to 10. We have that same cap for maternity, a max of 10. However, it can be for all seasons, and the brands are mentioned on that consignor guideline sheet that I talked about just a moment ago. So the inspection procedures work as follows. You're going to review all the clothing and push it forward on the rack as you go. Again, anybody with a pink sticker, that means they're perfect. We're just very quickly spot checking them. You're looking for long sleeves or fleece material or more than 10 juniors or maternity items. Those are the types of, red flags that you want to be able to identify. If they have a yellow or a blue sticker, we're doing a more thorough inspection process. And so you're actually looking at each piece of clothing, pushing it forward as you accept it, and then pulling out unaccepted items and putting them at the back of the rack. On your rolling racks, the ends will extend. And so as you find things that are not appropriate, you're going to take those out, put them at the end of your rack. You do not need to explain yourself to the consignor. This can be a little bit of a sensitive area because the consignors are most likely tired and they've worked really hard. But you just want to pull those aside and talk about that at the end. So at the conclusion of the inspection, you can congratulate the consignor and tell them they had all these great items. However, there are a few items that we are unable to accept, and you will landscape tape them. We have brightly colored landscape tape, and take them over to the rejected table where they can pick them up as they exit the building. Anything that's left at the table at the end of the night is automatically donated to charity. So you want to remind them again to stop by and pick up those items. If they were rejected due to the wrong season, the consignor can bring them back in the fall and they do not need to retag. So again, keep the rejected items out and tell the consignor to pick those up at the end. We don't want the consignor to take those items into the floor because there's a good chance that they will end up on the floor, which is what we're trying to avoid. So let's talk about what's in. So here are some things that may be a little bit tricky. These are long pants. They're black, but they are a windbreaker material, and so kids do wear these year round. So these are something that we would accept. This is 2 boy shirts. They are over 24 months. They're long sleeve. However, the color and the style is such that it's likely that your kid could wear these to a summer wedding or to Easter. So those two shirts would be accepted. And then this is under 24 months, long sleeves, could be worn as a layering piece. That is perfectly acceptable. This outfit is much more obvious. It's short sleeves. It's in good condition. That is something that we would take, as well as this little dress. It has a long sleeved cardigan, but the dress itself is white with polka dots. That's something you would typically see worn between April and September. So what's out? Wintry fabrics are not accepted at the spring sales. So any sort of fleece jammies we are not going to be able to accept. We will take footed pajamas in lightweight materials. So things that are cotton, velour, or terry cloth, that's perfectly fine. This outfit, it has a zipper. So we said zippers are okay for the spring sale with a hoodie, but the fleece material is something that we are unable to accept, as well as a heavy sweatshirt material. This hoodie does not have a zipper, so this is something that we would save for fall. The good part about this hoodie is it also doesn't have a drawstring, so that would be okay, but the fact that it doesn't have a zipper would cause us to hold this until the fall sale. Some other examples of things that are in, this does have a zipper, so that's great. There is no drawstring at the neck or on the waistband, so that is okay as well. These denim shorts are distressed, so you've got a nice big hole there, but that's a part of the design, so that is okay. It's also Abercrombie, which is a good brand that we do accept for juniors. So I know I've already mentioned it, but it's worth repeating about drawstrings. Drawstrings around the neck for size 2T to 12, as well as in the waistband, are things that we are unable to accept because they have been subject to recall by the Consumer Safety Products Board. So we want to be hyper vigilant about not accepting those items. The consigner, if they do wish to still consign it, can remove the string. We just pull out the drawstring, and without the string, it would be accepted. So let's talk for a minute about the condition of the clothing. You want to make sure that the items that you're accepting are free of rips, stains, tears, or excessive wear. Pay super close attention to the neck for infant formula stains. Make sure that if the item has zippers, the zippers are actually zipped and the buttons are buttoned. Not only does it make the item look better and it presents itself better on the rack, but it also maintains the integrity of the item by us checking to make sure those things actually work. Clothing does need to smell good, so there should be no smoke or pet odor. And then you want to look for excessive pilling on pajamas, and for the spring sales you'll see a lot of swimsuits, so we want to check that. And here's a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. So these are fairly obvious, the pilling, the stains on this Madras plaid, and then these are infant formula stains around the neck. So the final steps of the clothing inspection is that bright colored card that I mentioned in the beginning. You will mark on there if the consignor had any items that are rejected. You can put your name or your initial, and then you're going to take all of the consignor shoes that they bring and put them in a laundry basket. Once they're done with you, we dump their shoes in the laundry basket, take them over to the shoe inspection area, and the consignor is basically done with inspection. Now they're moving on to the next area of the sale. So the final steps for them is you want to remind the consignor to pick up their rejected items on their way out. Ask them if they have anything with a polyfill, such as a boppy, car seat, stroller, activity mat, etc. Then if so, they want to go to the sanitation station for it to be sprayed. And as I've said a couple of times, you really want to be very kind and helpful to the consignors so that they feel like they've accomplished something, they've done a good job, and now they're ready to move on to put away the rest of their items. Let's talk a little bit about shoes. So shoe condition, shoes must be new or gently worn. We want to be picky yet reasonable at the same time. We're looking specifically for excessive scuff marks, rips, or really overly dirty shoes. Those are things that we're unable to accept. And then there are some shoes that we have a little bit more grace with, such as athletic cleats or dance shoes. Those do tend to get scuffed up the first time your child wears them. So those types of things we use good judgment, and I will show you some examples. In addition to condition, you are looking for the appropriate size. We do not accept high heels or stilettos or things that really are not appropriate for children. The size guidelines are size 5 for children or size 7 for adults. So a size 5 child is equivalent to a size 7 adult. And those are things that you want to be sure to double check the size. Seasonal guidelines are very much like clothing guidelines. You're looking for things that your child would typically wear between April and September. So sandals, open-toed shoes, water shoes, flip-flops, Crocs without the lining, sneakers, and dance shoes are fine. Rain boots are in, but snow boots are out. Roller skates are okay, but ice skates are not. So that's fairly obvious. So these are the types of things that you would expect to see at the spring sale. Here's some ideas of the condition. This is really where the gray area is with shoes. These shoes on the left, you can see that the toes have some little scuff marks. These are really not too bad. So this is something that we would generally accept. Same thing with these in the middle. These are in really good shape. And on the end, I show this as an example because they are a big kid size. They do not exceed a size 5 or a size 7 adult, and these would be accepted. They're dark color, but it's a dress shoe that you could wear for a summer wedding or a first communion. Those types of things are all good. These things are not good. So we have shoelaces with really yucky kinds of pulling and stuff, so that would not be accepted. These shoes, the beds of the shoes are just in really poor condition. And on both of these two examples, the toe and the leather is something that's really beyond repair. You're not going to be able to use shoe polish or a magic eraser to clean those up. All of these shoes were actually brought to the sale, so I know you're looking at them saying, "Ooh, who would bring those?" They actually came through. So you want to be looking very carefully at the condition of the shoes. Just a final example, this shoe on the left was before being cleaned, so it's dirty. It's not in the best shape, but the consignor took a magic eraser to it, and we do have supplies available for consignors to use, and now it looks as good as new, and that item will sell. Same thing with the dirt on the soles. If you see this, you can encourage the consignor to clean up those shoes because we want to accept their shoes as badly as they want to get rid of their shoes. The fact of the matter is, though, that dirty shoes do not sell. And so just take a little extra time to polish them up a little bit, and the chances of them selling are much more likely. Here's a couple of other examples of what's out. As I said, rain boots are in, but this lining is out. And these shoes on the right, these are in really good shape, but they're suede. So these are going to be more likely to sell and therefore accepted for the fall sale. The final step with shoe inspection is you will indicate the number of shoes that have been rejected, why they were rejected, was it the wrong season, the wrong size, excessive wear and tear, and the total number. This is a carbon copy form, so one copy, the white copy, we staple onto their inspection card. The carbon copy, which is yellow, is going to go back into the laundry basket, and then we place them out on a table for the consignor to take home with them. The final steps with shoes is the basket goes back onto the reject table. The accepted shoes are placed around the shoe inspection area. We have them separated out by size and by gender, and then as we have time, particularly on the second day of drop-off, we will start putting those out onto the sales floor. And consignors will not put away their own shoes. We will do that as time is available. So that, in a nutshell, is our clothing and shoe inspection process, as well as kind of the general flow for drop-off. If you have any questions, please feel free to call or email me. Your team leader will be there assisting you throughout, and we look forward to seeing you at drop-off.